Hey Gab, Facebook, YouTube, it's Kevin Newsom. I wanted to talk today a little bit about the NFL and why the NFL is in serious trouble. Now, to start the season off, we've seen a 13 or 14% decrease in ratings from this point last season. We have stadiums that are sitting half empty or worse at halftime of games, specifically San Francisco and Los Angeles. We have general disdain from the fans concerning the player protest from the national anthem. So all of this is in place during the first couple of weeks of the NFL season. What happened, of course, over this weekend is only going to add to the misery of the NFL. What I'm talking about is President Trump at the campaign rally in Alabama over the weekend, stating that in his opinion, any player who purposely sits out the national anthem or otherwise refuses to stand for the anthem should be released. Now, of course, this was said in very colorful language, which Donald Trump is very well known for, but that was the gist of his statement. He also went on to say that as a fan, if you're offended by this kind of behavior from the players and you see this while you're at a game, even if it's just one player who refuses to stand, you should get up and walk out of the stadium and go home. It's a very, very interesting statement, very interesting words from the president. More interesting, however, was the response from the NFL commissioner. So NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell basically responds by saying that Trump is ignorant of the league, how good the league is for the communities involved, and that he supports the players 1,000%. On the heels of this, we have several players of the NFL and also other sports leagues saying they were going to ramp up their protests and sit out even more of the national anthems before each game. Now, this is a disaster for the NFL, and I'll tell you why. Until this point, the NFL commissioner has been essentially straddling the fence between the fans who do not like the protest and the players who are engaging in said protests. He has essentially said he condones the protest without wholeheartedly supporting the idea in of itself. He's done this in order to try and appease the group of fans who don't like it and who are staying away and not watching, while also appeasing the players who are engaging in this kind of behavior. So essentially he's trying to have his cake and eat it too. On the heels of the Trump statement, in response to it, the commissioner has finally chosen a side. And unfortunately for him, the side he has chosen is extremely unpopular with the fans. So, what's going to happen next? The players have already said what's going to happen next. There are reports that the Buffalo Bills are planning a mass national anthem protest. We have players quoted calling Donald Trump all sorts of vile and offensive names. We have players from other leagues, such as the NBA, saying that they're not even going to go to the White House, even if they were welcome to go, and that the president is a disgrace. So there's a hardening stance from these athletes. What you will see in response to this, and remembering that axiom, every action results in equal and opposite reaction. So you're going to see a greater number of protests from the players, a more intense level of protesting the national anthem. The inevitable response is going to be an even greater boycott of the NFL. This is from not only fans of Donald Trump, the tens of millions of people who voted for the president, but also more regular Joes in the United States of America who take great offense at people not standing for the national anthem. So in short, what we've seen is a hardening. What President Trump did was throw down the gauntlet. He drew a line in the sand and essentially forced everyone to take a side. Either you're in favor and support these protests, or you do not support the protest. The commissioner has crossed the line, finally, and declared himself in favor of said protests. The response from the internet community, the NFL fans, and football fans in general has not been surprising. Most people said that are NFL fans, President Trump said what was on a lot of people's minds. They're saying that they're not going to even watch the games on TV anymore, much less show up and pay the exorbitant prices to attend an NFL game in person. So what's going to happen is going to be terrible for the NFL. The 13 to 14% ratings drop over the first couple of weeks is going to increase. More people are going to stay away because more of the players are going to protest. Now the NFL is stubborn. They refuse to admit that these protests are the main culprit for the ratings decline and for people not going to the games anymore. They have blamed presidential coverage as far as the presidential election from last year. Now they're actually stating that fans are not watching or going to the games because they're watching Hurricane Irma footage, which does not explain why no one showed up to games in San Francisco last weekend. It really doesn't. The idea that California football fans are sitting at home watching hurricane clips on YouTube just is totally unrealistic. Now, to be fair, the product on the field in San Francisco and with the LA Chargers is quite horrible. There's no doubting that. But essentially the reason for this drop in attendance and this drop in ratings has been because of these player protests. And since the players are going to ramp up the protest, expect the ratings to continue to fall. When that happens, the owners will pay attention, because as ratings fall, as ticket sales fall, that means money coming out of their pockets. And as we all know, the NFL, first and foremost, above all other things, is a business. Unfortunately for the NFL, things are going to get a lot worse before they get better. Stay tuned and see for yourself, but I will predict quite easily player protests will ramp up in the short to medium term, and NFL attendance and ratings will go down in corresponding numbers. This is Kevin Newsom. I want to say God bless you whenever and wherever you're at. I'll see you next time. Bye.